Hey yo, what is up FPG fam? Further here, and for today's video I wanted to do something a little bit different. I admit I've been having a bit of content block trying to decide what type of video I want to do for you guys, so I do apologize for the lack of content. And there's a few videos ideas that I had in mind, but they all seem kind of redundant, like talking about the hackers, talking about Vera and 2.0, which all of that's great, right? But I just feel like all content creators have done that type of video, and once again it just feels a little redundant for me. And I haven't been able to decide what type of content I want to do so far until new characters come out like Ruby, where I can do guides and showcases and give my reviews and things of that nature, as well as a tier list. And so I thought in today's video we would go ahead and take a look at my previous tier list, go through the comments and kind of do some responses, because there are obviously people that do not like my tier list. There's tons of people that cannot stand my tier list. My tier list videos tend to have the worst like to dislike ratios. They're still overwhelmingly positive, but they are the ones that do the worst, and they're people that have a lot of things to say about my tier list. And I thought this would be a good opportunity to do a response video, just to kind of give my points and maybe go a little more in depth on my reasoning and kind of answer some of your guys' questions. Normally I could have just commented them, but you know, sometimes it just feels pointless. So instead I thought I would just do a video, and let me know if you guys would like to see more content like this where I kind of respond to your comments, especially in tier list videos, because people have a lot to say when it comes to that. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the video. I hope you like what you see, and let's go ahead and jump straight into it. So starting right off the bat, this was 9 minutes ago. I meant to do this a while ago, but I was on the fence of whether or not I was going to even do this type of video. I was on the fence, but then just ultimately decided to do so. Admittedly, this is a bit late, but anyways, 9 minutes ago, this is the worst tier list I've ever seen in my life, LMAO. So no reasoning behind it, no explanation on why this is the worst tier list they've ever seen in their life, just it is. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a heart for that one, my friend, and as you can tell, even with the negative ones, I do heart them anyways. It's just my way of showing that I appreciate you clicking on the video nonetheless and watching it and supporting me in some type of way. So there you go, you got a heart, my friend. Now let's go ahead and move over to the next one. As a human main, I'm really touched to finally see someone who appreciates their gameplay. Thank you, Cody. No problem, son, I got you. Let's go ahead and see some more controversial one. I know there was one in particular. I really want to go over the ones that don't agree with me, just to see what they have to say. So here we go. Alessandro Gestri, I believe you've been in a stream before, so I appreciate it. They go on to say, but isn't it funny that you think King has a lower tier compared to Meryl because he's going to be replaced, while it's pretty obvious that will happen the same with Meryl? I think we also need to think about the standard SSR weapons are easily maxed out to C6, while you have to whale to have the same on a limited banner. Will Ruby C0 replace King C6? Okay, so this is actually a really good one, and I do appreciate your comment. So you are correct in the aspect that I did talk about King being replaced, and Meryl is most likely going to be replaced by Saki, right? So you do make a good point right there. But the reason why I have Meryl rated higher than King is, first and foremost, we're talking about in the present, right? And I think in the present, Meryl is more valuable on the Frost team than King is on the Flame team. I think Meryl is just an overall better unit. Not to mention, I did mention other things on why King is in the tier that he's in, which is a good tier. It's not like I'm saying he's bad, but the reason why I have Meryl above him is because other things that I mentioned about King, his basic attack not being that great, his discharge is good, but that's really the only thing that you're using him for, and his shield breaking capabilities are good, but there are other units that are comparable or even better than him, even on his home team, speaking about Huma. Whereas with Meryl, I think Meryl just offers a lot more. I think Meryl is a better shield breaker. I think Meryl is just a better simulacra because she has hyper body on everything that she does. She's better in her own team than King is, so that's why I have Meryl rated higher, even though you are correct about them both being replaced in the future. That is very true. And then if we're talking about Ruby C0 replacing King C6, once again, I think that will be the case because Ruby just offers a lot more than King does. Yeah, King at C6 is going to be overall maybe better DPS and shield breaker, but Ruby also brings the flame resonance. Ruby also brings CC. Ruby also does damage as well and can still shield break. She just offers a lot more than King does. So yeah, I still think that Ruby will replace King, but then again, it comes down to a preference. You know, you may like King at A6 better than Ruby at A0. It really just depends. Also, gameplay style. So it just really is a preference there. But I do understand where you're coming from, and I appreciate the comment nonetheless, but that would be my rebuttal to that. Here we go. Cyber Mystic. I have Claudia at A0 and she performed brilliantly. My goodness, I had a hard time pronouncing that. Naturally, it's nice to get fusion cores, but yeah, unfortunately, I think Cobalt B in Global is one of the most broken units in the game. Interesting. I really appreciate the defense units like Meryl being S tier though. So I will say that by no means is Cobalt B in Global one of the most broken units in the game, especially at A0. Maybe we can have that conversation at A6, but definitely at A0, no. She's decent at best. And Claudia at A0, she performs brilliantly. Yeah, she brings a lot to the table at A0. Just you would preferably love to have her at A1, right? So thank you for the comment there. Sadly, another thing I did want to mention is that a lot of you wanted me to do a tier list where there's more advancements on the simulacra, so not at A0. A lot of you didn't like that. A lot of you wanted the tier list to be at least A3 or even A6. So maybe that's something that I can do in the future, right, for tier lists. Let me know in the comments down below if you would prefer that instead of it being at A0. Where was I at here? Okay, let me scroll down a little bit more. Could you do another tier list for early ascension? Yeah, see, a lot of you wanted me to do early ascensions or something like that. Yuma is good and fun to play. That's why I always change. Okay, nothing too controversial there. I still use King for Shatter no matter what update comes. Okay, as I main Frost team. For now, without Saki, King remains my shield breaker. Just waiting for another Shiro and one more. His King matrices the build. Okay, not bad. Huma should be S tier. Literally the best A0 character for shield breaker. Faster dash 2. I'm not Huma supremacy, but damn, she's God tier. Okay, this one, I mean, if you want to make that argument, you can. A0 character for shield breaker, I would argue that Meryl might be a little bit better at shield breaking than Huma at A0, but if you want to go ahead and make the argument that Huma should be S tier, I mean, I'm not really going to fight you on that. I think Huma's great. I think she's so versatile and flexible and is able to fit on a lot of different team comps, if not all of them. So I'm not going to argue with you. You know, that might just be your opinion, but I think A+ tier is a good spot for Huma, but that's just me at A0. Honestly, I think Cobalt and Shiro should switch if we're talking A0. Okay, here we go. Santiago, Shiro being physical gives Grievous, okay, which is generally better than a burn. Okay, yep, you got that. Resonance is great and all, but the three others who are needed to proc it are redundant in all but a fire team. I wouldn't say that. I don't think King's redundant in all but a fire team. I think King fits on a lot of different teams. Huma as well. I don't agree with that. Shiro's skill is also 15 seconds lower. Okay, so it has better uptime in general. And while it requires more brain power, it can still more or less deal just as much or maybe more shatter than Cobalt A0 given the right matrices. I can agree with you to an extent. So I think Shiro's skill is better because it does have a much lower cooldown. That's one thing about Cobalt that I cannot stand, is the long cooldown on her skill. So I will grant you that. Definitely. The only thing that I don't like about Shiro's skill is that it's a nice AoE, but if you miss it, it's pretty much useless at that point, right? Which, you know, for enemies like mobs and bosses and stuff, it's very hard to miss. But that's the only thing that, in my opinion, A0 Shiro is bringing, is that skill. So it's really reliant on that, where with Cobalt, you're getting more than just the skill. You're getting the flame resonance, and you're getting some decent damage and shield breaking as well, decent mobility. So yeah, with A0 Shiro, I just think you're really relying on the skill, and I guess I will grant you the Grievous as well. Okay, I'll grant you that. The only time Cobalt truly edges over Shiro is at A5. I don't agree. And at A6, I don't know. I might actually give them the same rank at A or B when compared to other units, because Shiro finally gets rid of her downside, but Shiro gives a lot more value to her team. That's just me. So to her team, yes, you are correct. Now, the only reason why is because there's no other physical units. There's no other physical simulacrums that you can use. It's just Claudia and Shiro. So by default, yes, I would have to grant you that, but I would say they're equally valuable to their team because, especially right now in the present, because Cobalt having the flame resonance is just a very core part of that team right now. And then the other things that she brings to the table. But what I will grant you is that maybe on this tier list, I should have put Shiro at A and maybe not B, right? I will grant you that. I probably should have put her at B, or A, excuse me, and not B. But I mean, for the most part, I don't fully disagree with you. We just might have some differences there, but that's not bad. Imagine putting Cobalt B over Shiro. What am I even seeing? I would have loved for you to elaborate on the reason that you think this. And once again, it just boils down to A0 Shiro does not do anything outside of her skill. Like, let me know what she does outside of her skill at A0. And Grievous, which you could also get with Claudia. Like, I don't understand what she does more over Cobalt B, or what she brings to the table more than Cobalt B. If you guys can enlighten me, that'd be fantastic, because a lot of you are saying this but not going into much detail, except Santiago, which I do truly appreciate, and I do see where they're coming from. But this right here, when you just say imagine and then not explaining what you're referring to or going into more detail, you don't have much of an argument here, right? Now, I will grant, once again, like I mentioned, I probably should have put them on the same tier. They're probably arguably on the same tier, probably solid A tier. I just was thinking, focused on A0 Shiro, what is she really doing? Nothing, just skill, right? But I can grant you that maybe they should have been on the same tier, A tier together, right? Okay, hey, can you do advancement tier list? Yeah, a lot of you want me to do with more advancement, so I can do that. Seems biased towards ice teams. Okay, here we go. Using the logic that so many simulacras deserves low spots because they're not bringing much at A0, yet Tsubasa brings no value at A0 and worse than Claudia on every other team. So let's go ahead and break this down. Seems biased towards ice team. I try and be as unbiased as possible when I'm doing these tier lists. It just so happens that the Frost team right now is an extremely strong team, and you cannot deny that. I would argue to say that Frost right now is the strongest team in the game currently on the global side. That's how good it is. So that's why they're all higher up. And then using the logic that so many simulacras deserve low spots because they're not bringing much at A0, yet Tsubasa brings no value at A0. Totally disagree. She brings tons of value at A0. She is a very core part of the ice team, consisting of Meryl, Frigg, and Tsubasa. Tsubasa being the DPS even at A0, providing a lot of damage. So no, at A0, I don't think Tsubasa brings no value. She brings tons of value. Even at A0, she's bringing a lot of damage with the stacking mechanic. Obviously, with more advancement, she's better in A1. You know, we're getting supports and stuff, but at A0, no, she still brings value and is worse than Claudia on every other team. I disagree. At A0, that is not true, especially on a Frost team. You are thinking about Claudia at A1. Now, you are right about that. At A1, Claudia on every other team is probably better than Tsubasa. Actually, she is. But at A0, that is not the case. Once again, especially on a Frost team. Because what is A0 Claudia doing? She's bringing you damage reduction, okay, and she's bringing you immunity, great, and a very low skill cooldown and a high discharge or high charge, right? That's what she's bringing at A0, which is great, right? And that fits on teams, but better than Tsubasa on a Frost team? No way, no way, okay, no. And that's why I value Tsubasa high, because she's bringing a lot of value to the Frost team, and she is great at A0 as well. She bringing a lot of DPS, and Frost team is arguably the best team in the game right now. So yeah, okay. Now moving on to Zera. If King was ranked on the basis of being essentially replaced down on the road, the same should be applied for Huma and Meryl as well. Yeah, but you guys are only focused on the replacement down. I mentioned more things than that. For King, yes, I focused on him being replaced down the road, but I did mention other things as well. It's not just that. So you guys, that argument right there falls apart once you start to only focus on that and then try and apply it to other units like Huma and Meryl. There are other things and other reasons, especially currently for this current tier list, on why King is in the tier that he's in, which is a good tier. It's not a bad tier. I didn't say he's bad. I don't know why you guys keep running that narrative, but anyways, moving on. If Tsubasa is being ranked on the basis of being great in a particular team, the same should be applied for Samir and Claudia. Right, but Samir, but the thing is that Tsubasa is on the best team and is very valuable on that team, where Samir is on, I would probably say arguably the second best team and is valuable, but it's not the best team. And Claudia, yeah, but we're talking about A0 Claudia. That's the thing. We're talking about A0. Especially surprised to see Samir down below in the same tier as Coco Ritter, King, Crow, when the team is arguably the best. No, Frost team's the best. None of her advancements are significant, completely free to play at C0, and with good damage and off-field abilities and good multiplier. Okay. Clunkier, okay. Which is less clunkier than Tsubasa alongside Frig team. Yeah, but they're the best in that team. Anyways, okay, so this is what I would grant you. Samir, okay, if you want to make the argument that Samir should have been in A plus or S tier with Tsubasa, okay, or if I should have moved Tsubasa down one, fine, I will grant you that. That could have been a thing that happened at A0. Once again, Claudia, no, at A0, I just don't value Claudia that much, so that's the reason why. But I agree, because if you think about it, and this is true, I will grant this, Samir and Tsubasa are arguably, you know, the DPS, not arguably, they are the DPS characters in their significant element, or their specific element, I should say. And because of that reason, they should be rated accordingly and should be the same. So I will grant you that Tsubasa and Samir could be on the same tier, whether that be A plus or S tier. I will grant you that. That is true, but not Claudia. Not Claudia. I just don't think Claudia is that valuable at A0. I'm gonna be honest. I think A tier for Claudia is where she belongs. Okay, so moving on from there. Christopher Garza, most inaccurate table for about 50% plus of characters coming from a top rank, and someone friends with most top ranks on server which disagree with this table. Lists like this made me pull for the wrong characters. Well, you should be making your, if you are a top player and you are friends with other top players, why are you just looking at one tier list and then going off of that? If you are a top player and you are friends with top ranked players, wouldn't you show them this list or show them a tier list and then make a decision that is reasonable for yourself, make a logical reason, take those things into account, do your research yourself, and then figure out what's going to be best for your account? So that would be first and foremost. And then secondly, you shouldn't just be going off a tier list alone to decide which characters you're going to pull for. Once again, you should be doing your own research. You should be going off of what you need for your own account. You should be really looking at this from a logical standpoint and deciding, do I agree with this? And if you don't agree with this, then do your own decision making. Go ahead and consult with your top rank friends, consult with yourself, who's supposedly a top rank player, and then make a decision, right? You shouldn't just be going off of a tier list yourself. If you're so highly qualified and your friends are so highly qualified, that would just be my argument there. So good one, Christopher Garza, but you kind of just outed yourself right there. Moving on, I Muse. I just like my team like I'm going to war. Yeah, I like that one. Okay, so we got Kanji here. I somewhat agree on double S and S, kinda, except Tsubasa's, that's just bias. She brings nothing at A0, worse than Shiro, or 0 in my opinion. This can be the furthest thing from the truth. I don't even know how they came to that. They didn't even explain. Now, Tsubasa, once again, I've already spoke about this. If you want to move her down a tier, that's perfectly fine. But doesn't bring anything at A0, that's wrong. And then worse than Shiro or 0 in my opinion, absolutely wrong. Claudia isn't Claudia at A0. Okay, I don't know if he means Claudia at A is too high. She should have been down another one. I don't agree. She brings some value. King isn't King at A0. I don't agree. I think King still performs decent at A0. That's why he's an A tier. Crow is just meh without ascensions. Disagree. Cobalt just because she has fire rezo. I can agree putting her on A. Okay, so Claudia, I think Claudia is fine at A with A0. She does bring some value. King is still King even at A0. I understand what he's trying to say. King brings more value with A1, but can still get the job done at A0. And Crow is just meh without ascensions. I disagree. I think Crow is decent even without ascensions. I think he can still get the job done. and is deserving of the A tier. I think he can still do damage though. Slightly agree / disagree. I don't think a tier list at 0 stars even means anything if you're getting 0 star weapons. Okay, yeah, so we can do a tier list with some advancements, right? Why is Sue S tier at 0? Okay, she could have been down 1. She does nothing at A0. That's wrong. She brings damage and a stacking mechanic. And the argument you had for her is that she's doing great with Frigg and the Frost team in general. I mean, Samir is probably better if she's with Nem. No, I think they're about the same. And you put her at A tier. Okay, I agree. I could have had them on the same tier. Edit Cobalt right now is automatic S tier because of the resonance. That is wrong. She is not S tier because of the resonance. She's decent even with the resonance, because the resonance only bring an additional 50% damage. So no, her DPS is good, especially if you do her dodge and aerial combos. Is decent at best. Is decent at best at A0. C0 and Genshin is something, but A0 and TOF, I don't think so. No, A0 and TOF means something. There's characters that, or simulacras that perform beautifully at A0, so I don't agree with that take, but I appreciate it, Zane. As a free-to-play Crow main, he is A+ or S single target DPS. I don't know why everyone hates the Crow after nerf. I put him in A. That means he's good. That's a good tier. It's not a bad tier because that was just not a bug, not a skill. Edit, I have A5 Crow. Yeah, you just seem a little biased towards Crow. It's okay. Finally figured out why they named Cupid. Okay. Oh yeah, I appreciate this for the correction. Simulacrum singular, simulacras plural. Gotcha. I'd love to see a tier list at base at A1. Okay, we could do that, yeah. With some advancement. C3 Meryl is very good too. Agreed, Lumi. Cobalt B at 6 stars on a tier list with 6 stars. Definitely the best 6 star at the moment. I agree, she's high up there. Okay. Nothing really about the tier list. Okay. I would put Cobalt B high B tier at A0 because she really needs A3 or above to make her shine. I wouldn't argue that. Shiro B, yeah. 0C, oh, definitely. Claudia A, yeah. Don't play at the same game probably. Yeah, I wish you would have elaborated what you mean. Like, where would you have put Shiro? S tier? Where would you put 0? A+ tier? Where would you put Claudia? D tier? Like, I don't understand. I don't know what this person is trying to say, but good try. Coco is ridiculously good. She is, but the only problem is, Sha, is that at A0 on a PvE tier list, you're not really using her, except you don't do raids. Or for example, in the recent Vera orienteering hard mode, everyone had to bring a healer. No, you didn't need to bring a healer for the hard mode. We did the hard mode. I did the hard mode without needing to bring a healer. So no, that's not true. And Coco can charge a weapon with 2 or 3 dodge plus attacks. That's true. She's good at charging. Crow is not that good. Crow's fine. Anytime I add Coco, I always get MVP in raids and JO and difficult content. That doesn't mean that she deserves to be higher. There's always need for healers. Not true. You could DPS the enemies down. You don't need a healer. Man, Cobalt is in the B tier. Yeah. For me, no. Cobalt B was in the A tier. If you're saying Cobalt B should be in the B tier, I don't agree. Oh, for me. Okay, you said for me. Okay, I don't agree. To me, top units in this game, fam, Mary is in a league of her own. Meryl is just on anyone's level. Meryl, Nemesis are a must pull. Others can always be substituted. I don't agree with that as well. I don't think Meryl is a must pull by any means. She's probably going to be replaced down the road by Saki. Nemesis, I wouldn't necessarily say is a must pull, but she's definitely fantastic. She's really strong. But no, I don't agree those two are must pulls. There you go, Shot. I'm tired of seeing so many people brushing off the importance of stars. I wasn't brushing them off. I just thought A0 was just a very decent foundational way to do a tier list, but I can see you guys want more stars tier list. I got it. An A6 Cobalt at weapon, yeah, okay, everybody's talking about A6 Cobalt. I get it. A0 tier lists are useless. Got it. Okay, she really needs on lead treatment. That's funny. Why are we talking about Crow with other simulacra advancements when we're strictly talking A0? This one confused me. I even replied to this one, B Tactics. This one confused me. I didn't know what you were really trying to say here. I wanted you to elaborate, but you never did. Why are we talking about Crow with other simulacra advancements? We never did. I never did. I never talked about Crow with other simulacras with advancements. I'm not sure what you're referring to there when we are strictly talking easy. Yeah, I wish you would have commented back and elaborated, because I have no clue what you're talking about here. You forgot she sends every effing enemy away from every effing one. C tier in terms of group gameplay. I'm not sure what you're referring to there. Shiro is literally S tier. At A0, Shiro is not S tier, my friend. Not at all. It's also not right that Coco is A. Coco is the best ice cream so far. She must be an S. What? I don't know what that means. Okay, that's obviously a Coco main. You seriously put Cobalt along with Samir. Okay. Yeah, I did. Because I think Cobalt B brings some utility and Samir is just DPS only. But okay, I agree with you guys. Samir could have been up a tier. I do see what you guys are saying now. Or Tsubasa should have been brought down a tier. Either way, I get what you guys are saying about that. So yes, Samir, I agree with the whole Samir and Tsubasa thing. I get you. This is very wrong. Huma S, King A, Shiro B. You guys need to elaborate. Where would you have put Huma? D tier? Where was King? A double S tier? Where was Shiro? God tier? I don't know where you guys would have put them. You need to elaborate. This is not... You say this is very wrong, but then you don't state the reason why. You just say Huma S, King A. Obviously, you mean Huma should be lower. King should be, I don't know, lower or higher. I don't know. And Shiro higher, I guess. I don't know. I don't know. Clown tier list, very funny. And this one I had to reply to this one. I said, I wonder if you got a shot of adrenaline when you typed out clown, like you feel all big and bad now. Like he was like, oh, I'm gonna put clown. I can't wait to put clown. These make me laugh because it's like, that's all you want to try and make fun of me by saying clown, which is hilarious. I'm a grown man, this doesn't bother me. And then you put tier list, very funny in a good way, very funny in a bad way. How would you have changed it? What was funny about it? What was the differences? Like, what would you have done differently? Do you care to explain? See, individuals like this, they can only put clown and put tier list very funny. They have a very hard time articulating the reasons why it's very funny, and they have a very hard time of structuring sentences and putting together the reasons on why it's funny and how they would have put simulacrums on or simulacras on a tier list, right? I would love for them to do a tier list and then send it to me, DM me your tier list, and then let me evaluate that. Anyways, I don't know why King and Shiro garbage. They are really good for PvE, dude. I don't know what you are smoking. Matthew, I specifically said if they are in A tier, that means they are good, they are solid, they're a fantastic simulacrum. I didn't say they're garbage by any means. I didn't even say Shiro was garbage by any means. Actually, in the past, I said Shiro is fantastic. I just said A0 Shiro, all you can really rely on is the skill. That's all she really is bringing to the table. And maybe Grievous, if you want to throw that in there as an olive branch. But to say they're garbage, I never once said they're garbage. So this is a false narrative that you're trying to go ahead and state when it's obviously not true, because I never said they're garbage. So where you got this from, I have no clue. If you can find a clip, or if you can find a video where I said Shiro and King are garbage, then I will retract or redact everything that I just stated right now. But my friend, this is fallacious, this is not true, and you're trying to spin a narrative here that is just not accurate. And what am I smoking? I don't smoke, my friend, but I would love to know what you're smoking by saying this, saying I said this. I don't know, you must be saying they're garbage, because I didn't. You really dislike male characters, huh? No, I don't dislike male characters. King, I had an A tier, absolutely fantastic. Zero, I just don't think that's great. Crow is on A tier, fantastic. So not sure what you're referring to, my friend. But anyways, I got you. Autumn, I keep forgetting. Got you. And then Kodo, thank you, Kodo, I appreciate it. Yeah, so that's basically rebutting these. This was a long video. This was just going over and rebutting. So one thing I will say, just as to do a quick recap, yeah, Tsubasa and Samir, they could have been on the same tier. Probably have moved Tsubasa down one or moved Samir up one. They could have been on the same tier, so I agree with you guys on that. Everything else I stand behind. Everything else I stand behind. But anyways, this is just my rebuttal, just kind of rebutting some of these and giving my arguments and explaining a little bit more, going a little more in detail on why I put simulacras where I put them, or simulacrums where I put them, I should say. But anyways, guys, Hope you enjoyed the video. This was more for entertaining purposes. Let me know if you guys would like to see more of this in the future, but I'm gonna get on out of here. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. And if you stay till the very end, I do truly appreciate you. That's incredible. My name is Cody, but you can call me further. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.